There is a grand cover-up, a cosmic conspiracy all about nothing. Nothing, fully hidden, always remains partly covered up. But nothing is more real than what is and remains as it is. What is only as it is remains forever unable to become something else. And no one could ever know anything about it. Now, admittedly, one can never directly find a nothing. One could look all day long, spend an entire lifetime, and never stumble across what's not there. We always find a something, then another something, and then another. But eventually I may stumble upon a light or a mirror. Neither of these are nothing, but both equally show what they are not. They hide themselves to reveal what they are not. Neither is much to look at per se. We want to see what they make possible. Consciousness, Sartre tells us, is what it is not and is not what it is. This means that being in itself can come to itself for the first time only by including nothing into all that is. The whole of being, or being in itself, in order to upsurge into reality, had to include a room-making nothingness, a gap, a lack, a crack, a fissure in being, all so that being might be for itself rather than merely in itself. Now, if I say time is real, no one seems all that surprised, and if I say thought is real, few can seriously doubt it. But try talking to people about nothing, and they will tell you that nothing is not real, that nothing doesn't exist, that it's merely a phantasm, a spooky ghost of language. So here's the problem. Could it be that thought and time are basically nothing? To speak of what was or will be, to speak of possibilities, is to speak of what is not. It is to dwell in the denial of what is. Whatever is not where humans exist. How, Sartre asks us, is the experience of thirst possible? How can a fully positive set of actual conditions, one's sheer materiality and actuality, disclose a lack? Friedrich Nietzsche, in his Truth and Lies in the Ultramoral Sense, suggests that all ideas are lies. They emerge from equating what is not equal. We have an idea of an apple that refers to apples more generally, despite the fact that every apple is absolutely particular and unique. The word apple, then, refers to any apple, to all apples, to no apple in particular. Kenneth Burke writes that if someone asks me, is it 32 degrees outside? If it is anything other than 32 degrees, I can truthfully say that it is not 32 degrees. But there's no such thing as not being 32 degrees. The temperature simply is and only whatever it is. We commonly say that a vegetarian does not eat meat, but there is no such thing as not eating meat. There are only the actual things one does eat. Someone could watch and document all that a vegetarian eats, and we would never find the act of not eating something. There is only eating what one eats. We commonly say that time is change or movement, but the world just as it is does not know of the is not, does not know of the was and the will be. As change through and through, there is yet to be a someone for whom the change exists. If change or movement is registered, there has to be a something, or better, a someone who is registering the change. There is lots of change, lots of movement, and it will not sit still. But life at all its levels opens a kind of retention and a waiting, a stretching along, an anticipation, a kind of clearing that dwells by being more than mere change. Life is itself negentropic. We are open systems, systems who create disorder around ourselves in our environment to maintain order within, to stave off, if only for a while, the dissolution of the cells making up our bodies. Consciousness is nothing other than the temporality which has to be its possibilities. What is possibility? Where is possibility? When is possibility? We seem to use vision as a metaphor for our understanding of time. We somehow think of time as if it were a container. But what is in the future is not merely in the distance. Not all possibilities exist in space. Animals, for their own part, have little to no future possibilities. They mostly open to a not yet that is within space, even if a very distant space. Not all possibilities, though, are merely something within the distance which is not yet near. We are time made for possibilities, and possibilities are not merely eventual actualities. Time is not space. Time is not something located within space. But time is very real. Humans, as language using animals, dwell in temporal possibilities, possibilities that are made of nothing but time. And not all possibilities remain in the future. Not all possibilities are actualized. There are and remain possible pasts. Many of our own most possibilities are possibilities to the very end, never being anything other than a possibility, or perhaps they become a failed attempt, meaning humans can live in the missed opportunity, the foregone possibility, the neglected possibility. Necessity might be the mother of invention, but necessity is the daughter of possibility, and possibility is the granddaughter of nothing. There are so many kinds of negativity, not just nothing and negation, but the not now, not yet, not ever, no way, no how is not the case. So many knots in all those knots. Thought is abstract. It selects and delimits, decontextualizes. It deals mostly in possible relations. Is thought not basically a denial of what is? Count Alfred Korzybski seemed to suggest as much in his famous claims that the map is not the territory and the word is not the thing. Assessing statements of truth is impossible without negation. In fact, denotative propositions, utterances bearing content about something, are utterances for which we can ask, is that true or is that false? When people speak, we always dwell in assessing some degree of non being. But it is not just language. Language is made in the image of life, the great negentropic, and is perhaps a potent distillation of the room making negativity infecting the cosmos. For example, desire, all desire, desire for food, water, sleep, or sex, yearnings for fame or fortune, but especially desires for the unattainable, the return of a deceased loved one, wishes for youth eternal, longing to control what others think of us. These are part of the human world, part of the way that non being haunts human reality. When people sit in a theater and view a fantasy, there is something going on within the movie, a something that we often say is not real. But there is still something going on. People are sitting in a theater. Try to think just for a moment how much money is spent annually telling stories about what is not the case and what will never be the case. People absolutely love what is not the case. They pay big money for it. Day in and day out, they want to see what will never be other than a fantasy. Human life, opening to cosmic expanses by being able to raise questions that will never have answers, is infected by nothing and temporally dwells in that non being. It is to nothing that we owe our very lives, and it is nothing that we mostly concern ourselves with. Only animals who are haunted by what is not could know of their ancient origins and dream of their ultimate possibilities. He found himself confronted by what amounted to the great nothingness, the vast desert of the shoreless sea.